When I was scrolling through some old art a few days ago, I ended up finding this unfinished doodle. These are my OCs Green and Blue. I've had them since like 5th grade when I doodled some characters based on colors in my sketchbook. I ended up liking them so much I drew a piece with them all together. From then till the end of middle school, I've drawn them a ton of times, trying to iron out the designs, but the whole time their stories have remained pretty much stuck in the state of being written by a 10-year-old me. The original story was that they were all normal preteens before being kidnapped by evil scientists. The scientists wanted to test them since it turned out they all had special powers. Red had the ability to lie to people and make them believe it was true. Orange could turn water into fire. Yellow originally had voodoo doll powers but ended up being able to create audio illusions. Green seemingly has no powers and is just human but really good with guns. I honestly never really figured her out. Blue could create visual illusions, so her and Yellow worked together a lot. Purple had telekinesis with like cool purple orbs that moved around the object she controlled. And Pink could chew gum that turned into explosions. Their story mostly consisted of me imagining ways that they could break out of the facility, and it didn't go much beyond that. However, all of their redesigns had this story at least vaguely in mind. Now I want to do a full overhaul of their designs, personalities, and story. I'm choosing to take away their powers in exchange for being a group of nerdy, cringe-fail friends. Their previous designs were all 12 to 13 because I was 12 to 13, but their new designs are going to be 18 to 22. I thought about making them more my age, but I'm so wrapped up in the college application process that writing a story about people already in college seemed fun to me. If I did ever turn them into a comic, it would definitely lean more towards slice of life now than sci-fi or action, especially considering I already have a more actiony and dark comic project in the works anyway. I got the idea for this video when I redrew that original doodle, trying to see how it improved at posing my characters, meaning I didn't really change their designs. I ended up loving this doodle and just drew the rest of the cast without seeing their old designs in front of me. I like this full doodle even more and knew I had to refine them. This video will be mostly me talking over footage of me refining their designs, followed by a fully rendered drawing of them while I talk about their personality and why I designed them that way. Without further ado, let's begin. My first thought when it comes to Red is that she's a huge camp counselor type. She's definitely the one that got the entire group together as friends. I imagine she does this by getting all the random people at her school to play D&D with her, and for various reasons, they all agree. Red's 100% an amazing dungeon master, like second to Brennan Lee Mulligan level. So all her new friends come back each week since they like her campaign and also each other so much. There are a few designs where I made her less nerdy, and I just can't get into them. She is and will always be a huge nerd with a triangle on her t-shirt. This time, it's a Star Trek reference, which is a little bit cooler, if you don't think about it that hard. I wanted her to have this big boxy frame, which is why I ended up ditching the fluffy hoodie and just tie it around her waist. When I had the idea for big cargo shorts, I loved it. I think she finds a way to carry all her items in them, and her friends will just beg her to use a bag. She will never use a bag. Orange is the only character here that thinks she's cool and also is cool. Her and Yellow are in a kinda shitty punk band together, and they open at a bunch of dingy local venues. Orange is the drummer, but also the lead singer, so she has to wear a Britney Spears, gamer mic at shows. It's completely awful, and she loves it. Her entire vibe and design when it comes to the sunglasses is super inspired by Burt McCracken. He's such an unsettled, kind of petty, extroverted guy, but also a lot of fun, which is everything Orange is. She's definitely very loyal to the extent she ends up being a little bit jealous and territorial. She's very protective of all her friends, but Yellow especially. Yellow's personality is definitely the most different from where she started. She started as this kind of off-putting, creepily introverted character. Then she morphed into this lanky, awkward, shy character. I decided to dump basically all of this and make her super punk. I really enjoy punk music, but don't call myself punk, so I just like making punk OCs. Yellow loves music so much, and she'll show all her favorite bands onto people as her friend-making method. I imagine her making playlists for everyone's D&D characters just as a way to make people listen to her music. She's also totally justified in this. Her music taste fucking rules. She's the guitarist in her and Orange's band. She's also really energetic, and even though she doesn't sing, brings so much intensity to her gigs that it just makes the crowd match her energy. Basically, since I created this set of OCs, Green has been my favorite. This has changed, but you'll see with who a bit later. She was originally a tank of a character, super good at fighting, and at a point, guns. Her design in my original sketch makes her out to still be like this, but nerdy too. I wanted her to be more fashionable in the way that she clearly cares about her outfits, but not that she's necessarily good. Green is definitely great at arguments, though. She's genuinely amazing at earnest debate, but when she's around her friends, she turns into the kind of I will die on any hill for the bit type. Red loves D&D with her, and the improvised arguments with NPCs are always really fun for everyone at the table. I think I also gave her Jersey Shore vibes, which I'm not totally mad at. Her blonde is also definitely fake, but I think college is the first time she ever did anything with her hair, so she's not really sure how to make it look good yet. The huge ponytail with the bow in it has always been a staple of her designs, so I refuse to get rid of it. However, her bangs have gone from kind of straight to something she cut herself in the dark at 4 a.m. She's genuinely really sweet, maybe the sweetest of the group, but just really committed to the bit. Green's super tall, but she had a huge growth spurt in 8th grade and then never grew again, so she's wearing a really worn out t-shirt from middle school, the kind with a bunch of signatures written all over them. She's also still wearing braces because she needs them. She was definitely really picky about the colors when she first got them and will continue to match her outfits to them. She's also totally in love with blue, but they haven't confessed their unknowingly mutual feelings yet. Orange and yellow will be expediting that process. Blue was always, and still is, a pretty shy character. She definitely comes more out of her shell when Orange and Yellow find out she plays bass guitar and convince her to join their band. She'd be freaking out on stage for the first few times, but she loves her friends and playing bass so much she powers through. I once saw this video of a band with a guitarist poking their head out of a door that connected to the stage, throwing up while still playing guitar with his band. That's her. That's Blue. She likes big baggy clothes and skirts. She's a really great writer and would definitely be the next DM when Red's campaign ended. Okay. I am so excited about Purple, who is without a doubt my new favorite. He's a trans guy because this is what happens when I love a character a lot. I honestly didn't care much for Purple over all his designs until now. While making the original doodle, I ended up with the idea of making him a raver, and I am never looking back. I adore raver fashion. I specifically was inspired by Subculture Party Outfits, which is a ravish event based around different music and fashion subcultures. I also happen to be counting down the days until I am 18 and can go to one. So for now, I live vicariously through Purple and his mismatched leg warmers. His hat is very specifically this Sonic hat I found at a mall one time, because it's just exactly what he'd wear, I've decided. He obviously loves large gatherings, which is why he said yes to the D&D. He thinks Orange and Yellow's band is so cool and goes to all their gigs. He has a really nice singing voice, so they let him up on stage a couple times when they want to play a duet or needed background vocals. Orange is definitely territorial over being the frontman, so Purple will not be replacing her anytime soon. I don't think he wants to, though. He enjoys being in the pit too much. Every time they let him on stage, he makes sure to tell everyone to open the pit before he gets off. He takes his friends to concerts all the time and is really great at catering the concert to his friends. He'll take Red to something where you just sit down the whole time and the musicians are a bunch of nerds, but he'll bring Green to something more energetic, but not too much so, like an arena show in the nosebleeds. Can you tell I like making characters related to music? Pink's design was the one I was least happy with in the original doodle. I feel like the drawing on the left is how she looks a few years post-grad, but in the story, I think she's one of the freshmen. I'm keeping the leather jackets and pants because they rule, but the hair is really what bugged me. I ended up adding a beanie and it fixed a lot of my issues with the design. Pink constantly has split dye throughout all of her designs, but the tips felt closer to how her character would actually dye her hair. Maybe a few semesters down the line she had the courage to dye her whole head, but not yet. She's pretty closed off at first, but joins the party since she promised herself she'd try and be social. She's the person who ends up getting most in character, and she gets way more comfortable with herself and the people around her through getting to play a character in the campaign. And here's all my finished rendered drawings. I'm really happy with how this came out, so I may do more stuff like this in the future. If you want to find my socials, they're on my website and in the end card. My commissions and coffee are also in the description if you're interested in those. I'm currently doing doodle requests for $3 on coffee. Alright, I'll see you next time.